Welcome back to Blackstardove. Welcome back to my channel. As always, I appreciate a like. It's free of charge, and I appreciate if you give me one. There's so many videos you can make post-election. We could talk about Vice President Carmela Harris and her being 20 million in the deficit, and all the people that we find out was getting paid. Pretty much anyone who did an interview with her got paid. Gotta say in quotation marks, because either they got paid or their company got paid. I.e. C. Oprah Winfrey. She clearly stated that she didn't get paid, which is 100% true. She never received a dime. However, her production company got paid. So, technically Oprah never lied. But, you gotta see how people word things. But this video is going to be focusing on the 4B movement. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard about it, but a brief synopsis of it is it was a movement started in South Korea for women to get equal rights to men, where they pretty much have stopped doing anything like any dating, any type of sexual activity, nothing regarding men for the most part. And it has been very popular again in South Korea, and to the point where, excuse me, I apologize for burping, there hasn't been that many kids born. So I wanted to see what would happen if it were to be brought here to America, and why I personally think that A, even though it sounds good in theory, it's not going to work, and B, how does that actually play into the hands of the conservatives who you say that you're doing it to get away from. In America, we do things a little bit differently. America focuses really on hypergamy and going from the bottom to the top, taking the least difficult road. Like, no one wants to sit here and say, oh, it took me 30 years to make $1 million. No, they want to say, I made $1 million overnight. No, I hit the lottery or some shit. Because of that, and what the 4B movement stands for, it's like you're playing right in the hands of the people who said that this is what they wanted in the first place. A lot of conservatives were saying you shouldn't have sex before marriage. A lot of conservatives would say you shouldn't have kids until you're married. So that at least the whole sex outside of marriage, and that deletes the whole premise of you trying to get an abortion in the first place. Because if you don't have sex, unless you're gonna have the next miracle baby, you can't get pregnant. But oh man, but it's just like it's so silly to me, because A, this was done out of emotion. So anything done out of emotion, given time, you're gonna realize it was a stupid mistake. Which is why they have things called crimes of passion. Because in that moment, you wasn't in your right mind, but you still did something stupid, and you still should be punished. But I don't think it's going to stay long. Because A, if you look at most of the women, what they want, what they describe that they want, is a conservative man. Like, they want a man who's a provider, who's masculine, who is a man of God, who is a man of integrity. Now, I'm not saying that cannot be a Democrat person, but if you look at what the Democrats strive for, they strive for 50-50. They strive for you being equal with your partner. While the conservative is more of the triangle. Like, God is up top, man, women, children. And that's something that they more subscribe to. So if you look at what people say that they want and what they yearn for a Republican partner, if that makes sense. But no, I even see it like now. It's been, 2 weeks since the election. That whole 4B movement is down the drain. There are some women who went and shaved their head bald, and they're, they're sticking it to the man, as they say. And I wish those women the best in the world. But that whole movement thing has already went downhill. like, it didn't take much, because I had to think about it. We live in a country where there was an assassination attempt on the president-elect. Now, there was an assassination attempt, and a week later, it was forgotten about. That's how fast news travel. Like, no one like sits and like thinks of shit anymore. Imagine if Kennedy was shot today. That would be forgotten about within 2 or 3 days. Well, like after the funeral. Like, that is how crazy this is, and this is how fast things are moving now. The whole 4B movement is dead in the water. It never really lifted up. It was nice in theory. Same thing with the blue bracelet thing. You see how certain white women were wearing blue bracelets, so that way people can feel that they're safe around them, or some silly shit like that. And then, I don't know if you've seen the video or not. It was this one lady in the park, and she was wearing a blue bracelet, and she was like going around flashing it to people. And this one dude thought that he was giving her the finger, and that she was giving him the finger, and he went to confront her. I swear, I wish I could find that video again, because that shit was funny. She went around like flashing her blue bracelet, and the last dude she flashed, because she was like this, and he thought that she was giving him the finger. And I was just like, and that went from a safe space to help. I need help real quick. Oh my God, that was some of the funniest shit I ever seen. But I want to end this by saying this. Even though the 4B movement is nice in its premise, even though I think it's needed, because like, hey, give your body a break. And then this is coming from a man who has a child out of wedlock. I have a 7-year-old boy. One of my biggest regrets is that I had him out of wedlock. I should have went and got married and did everything the proper way. But at the same time, I don't want to seem like I don't love my son. I love my son with everything I have, but he shouldn't be here. So I just don't want to sound like I'm a hypocrite. And I don't know, it's just like, if you really think about it, half the people that you have dated, you know you shouldn't have dated them in the first place. And now, maybe with no abortions in the future, or in the near future, depending on what state you live in, it'll give you more cause to think about your future. Take care. I love you. Peace.